is my first online webinar. So go with the presentation, memecoin 101 hype overview. This is kind of a joke. I want to preface that meme coins are really risky. This is financial advice, but you can get rich doing this. Part one is going to be a quick background on myself. Just a quick overview on me. Played baseball at U Chicago, sold out and did investment banking. Started a company around like 1.5 years after being in finance. Did Y Combinator, which is like the startup accelerator program. Raised some money, pivoted a bunch. End of last year, didn't know what to like work on, started trading memes, saw how broken it was. Wallet apps really suck. Everyone at that time, like this is back in November, October, was essentially sleeping on meme coins, and they still probably are. So I would still say you're like the early. Here's just like a quick overview on my balance update as of today. These are some of my best trades. Made around 75K on a coin called the Huzz, 33K on this coin called Rap Spotify recently, and then 83K on Vibecat. A big part of meme coins is like knowing when to sell. The Huzz would have been like a 150K trade. I just like didn't sell it properly. Spotify would have been a 75K trade if I sold it properly. Vibecat would have been like around 120K. This is my balance. So start at around like 25K, currently at 132K as of today. This hurts, but ran it up to 400K in a weekend and a round trip back to 130K. I think this is like kind of one of the core things I want you to understand about meme coins. So meme coins are attention markets. Making money on memes is essentially this concept called cultural arbitrage. It's essentially front running attention and selling at the top of attention. Why like crypto here? With crypto, we can actually assign dollars to attention. Think about it, attention is like one of the things that we really, really care about in this digital age, whether that's like posting on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. Like everyone cares about attention. Attention is like super important. If you don't have attention, you don't have anything. And so meme coins are a way to kind of measure like attention. This means that number will only go up if there are more buyers than there are sellers, right? That is kind of like the beauty of meme coins, right? If there is no cash flow, there is no utility. If we're doing like a financial analysis, you're not looking at like tangible value. It's literally all intangible value. And so if you're able to kind of understand where attention is going, like along like this attention curve, you could maybe make money on this asset class. With this asset class, younger people might have an advantage in terms of like trading. So these are some screenshots of coins we have on Hype. You can buy whatever you want, but these are some of the coins. You have Mudang, which originated on TikTok. And if you were to identify that early, you could have made a bunch of money trading that. One person turned like $800 into $1 million. There's like crazy stories. Of course, you have to like sell that properly. That doesn't always happen. GigaChad is another very common. I think Gen Z, maybe some millennials know what GigaChad is. Is at a $630 million market cap. Just a Chill Guy is an example of a recent meme that originated on TikTok. And if you saw like the virality of that on TikTok, you could have like made money by front running that narrative before that, like when that coin initially came out. Or as like another like common phrase that younger people say, like this person has aura or plus 100 whatever aura. So what we're seeing is that there's a lot of trends and themes that are starting to go viral, whether it's news, TikTok, etc., are starting to permeate into crypto and trading. This was the talk I did like a month or two ago. So at the time, most of all this was happening on Twitter. Soon it'll just be like TikTok and mainstream. That's already happening now. So it's a little bit dated, but I guess I was right on that trend. So brain rot here is advantage. So what brain rot means is like scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, being terminally online on your FYP page, picking up on different trends and stuff. And here's an example of this happening. Rizzler, I don't know if anyone here knows who the Rizzler was, but so I'll show you who the Rizzler is. This is the
Can you
Rizzler.
teach me how to do the Riz day?
So first you put one eyebrow down like this and suck in like this. You do it all together and that's how you do the Riz face.
Can you teach me how to do the Riz
No.
day?
So
This is like a very famous guy on TikTok. He was like viral on TikTok. Actually, my intern who's on this call was like obsessed with the Rizzler and was showing me videos of there was a coin that was launched of the Rizzler. And essentially the arbitrage opportunity, if I was going to show it to you, was that people didn't know who the Rizzler was, at least like people that were trading meme coins, like people on crypto Twitter, right? And so if you were able to identify that this guy is hilarious and funny, you could have like front ran that trade by buying it very, very low. If I pull it up, it was probably at like less than like a 50K market cap or something. And then as soon as you went on Jimmy Fallon, like more of mainstream, like figured out who the Rizzler was, that's when you saw his coin really skyrocket. That's when you, as a person who is timing this trend, would essentially be, that's when you should probably be selling. When you made that opportunity, that's when you should be selling. Like, people who are younger probably knew the Rizzler was, and that was like your advantage. That was a way to make money. And so we're seeing is like this TikTokification of finance. Essentially, you're trading attention. And now there's like this crazy TikTok TikTok to news to coin pipeline, it used to be slower and now it's just immediate. Recent example of this was Luigi. So Luigi was a guy, you guys all know who Luigi is probably at this point. He was like the suspect of the United Healthcare CEO shooting. As soon as his pictures came out, as soon as his name was dropped, like literally immediately, coin is created and runs to a $60 million market cap. It's like a slow run up over the course of the day. But if you were like on TikTok or reading the news and you saw that and you knew what to look for, you could have like gotten very early before $1 million market cap. And then of course, and then you have to assess where are we in that attention cycle, and you could be selling on the way up. You guys probably all know the story of Peanut. He was assassinated, people intruded someone's home, got the squirrel, killed the squirrel. It went super viral on Twitter. It was very sad. And of course, there was a coin created for it. Now, funny enough, the coin was actually created a few days before this even happened, which is really weird because Peanut was also viral on TikTok. But if you bought that coin, you know, you could have made a bunch of money on that trade. This is like the day when this news broke, when Peanut actually got assassinated. So this is like the price on hype. And this is the Google Trends chart. You can see like how it maps to just like general attention, right? You have Google Trends on the right, and then you have Peanut price on the left. It's literally like a 1-to-1. It's very, very similar, right? You have peak attention, then a drop off, you take a drop off. So I just want to reinforce in your heads that meme coins are attention markets. And then this piece is really important. Some coins, very few coins can actually sustain attention. And that's like a cult kind of like following / a community. These are like the mainstream ones that you might have heard of that are very big, like Doge, Mog, Shiba Inu, Giga Chad. Those were able, and even Peanut now has been able to like sustain attention, but most coins can't sustain attention. It's very hard to sustain attention. Think about how hard it is to sustain attention for any sort of news cycle. Unless something becomes very memed and into mainstream culture and ingrained, and there's this cult following, it's very hard to sustain attention. And that's just like a trend. And so just know the game you're playing when you're coming in, entering the space. Are you trading a trend? Are you trading attention short term, or are you buying into this longer term like meme community, etc.? That's very important. If you could like start mapping out where you are in that attention curve, you can start becoming better at timing stuff. But like knowing this, meme coins can also now act as prediction markets, or attention markets. So to test this out, we actually created something called the President Meme Coin Index. Essentially what this was, the site's still up, it's called president.meme. What we did is that we indexed all the presidential meme coins related to Trump by market cap, and then all the presidential meme coins related to Harris by market cap. You can see that we essentially were able to predict who was going to win the presidential election before mainstream media was. On the top, you have hype, and on the bottom you have Polymarket. Polymarket's a prediction market. Essentially, you're betting on what side you think is going to win. And then on the top, you have hype, which is in a way like kind of the prediction market attention, or people are also trading the outcome here. What's interesting about this is that it literally maps, almost very closely maps the Polymarket, right? So you have this is it, it's indexed, starts at 0, and then you have the price change, and you can see like how the gaps like honestly like change very similar to how Polymarket changes as people are trying to figure out who's gonna win the presidential election. And then once you have people figured it out, you have this like sharp divergence. This is Harris, this is Trump. Why is this happening? Because people are expecting that if Trump wins the presidential election, there'll be more attention on his coin. And if Harris loses the election, there'll be less attention on her coin, right? And so you're essentially front running that outcome and trading it here. And you can see that this literally happened in real time. This is Polymarket here. And again, why are markets interesting? Because you're not relying on like mainstream media telling you what's going to happen. You can almost use this as like another source of truth. So I think it was a very interesting use case of meme coins serving as like predictors of attention. Now, the hard part here is like, when do you sell? Do you sell the news? Like how do you get out of this position? But also I want to highlight like something interesting here, which is this wasn't like a zero-sum outcome, right? So with betting, you have, if you're wrong, you lose everything. Here, like both Harris and, up to, obviously not up to this point, but before, both the Harris and the Trump coins were significantly up, like on a 24-hour window. Actually, one was up more than the other. And so you can actually like play this market, like if in the next 4 years or whenever there is an event, you can maybe like play and like learn from what happened in the past. It's not like if you're wrong, it goes to 0, right? You can still like kind of sell your position. Yeah, I mean, meme coins are risky, but you can also make life-changing money. This is like one trader. Stories like this all the time where like someone will have a crazy trade where they'll turn like 1,000x or 11,000% get 11,000% gain in like 3-4 hours. This happens every single day. So I think it's just like a slide just on how before meme coins are very correlated to Solana price. And what we're seeing now is that meme coins are starting to not be that correlated to, it's not like a good Solana beta, at least like not as much as it used to be in the past. So in the past, like the beta was around like R squared, or R for those who took stat, was around like 0.96 correlation coefficient. And then like R squared was around 0.92 or something, which is like pretty correlated to Solana price. And what we're seeing now is that it's just not. This tells me that it's essentially breaking into its own asset class. There will be like some, maybe there's like some, effect of Solana price and stuff, but like we're just seeing it be a separate asset class completely. Part 3 is just going to be about hype. So you guys should all have hype by now. This is the invite code. Again, so what is hype? So hype is a trading app for meme coins. That's kind of like if Coinbase was jailbroken and crossed with Venmo. It's how I like to describe it. So you essentially could trade any asset you want, any meme coin. You could trade Solana, you could trade Ethereum, you could trade Bitcoin. We let you trade anything, and you can also send people money. So you can send your friends meme coins, you can send them stable coins, you can send them US dollar, you can send them Solana, whatever you want to do, whatever it's on Solana blockchain and Ethereum blockchain, you can essentially interact. We're the best mobile trading product out there, whether you're a serious trader or just getting started, we got you covered. Our goal from like a product point of view is to be ridiculous and fun, but also just the best way to trade on mobile. And so we refer to our users as clients. Like we want to make sure that you guys always have great customer service and a good experience. We're always improving the product, and we're focused on building features and things that will help you guys have an edge over people who are not on hype. We want you to win, right? And we also want you to have fun doing it. These are some of our client testimonials. So yeah, you guys can read it, but people, really love the app. It's very addicting. It's very fun. It'll become a core part of your life once you're in. So be careful. Some screen time on our app is pretty crazy. Some people spend like 7 hours a day on there. So try to make things fun. So we have like meme stuff in the app. So whenever you like hit a 5x or 2x or whatever, we have like a money printer go burr animation, which I can show you guys here. It's like, they know I'm a big bounce, got a big bounce in this. You can see we have like funny things like if you would have held diamond handed, you would have been up 6.52K%. $69 would have been 87K. This $1,000 would have been $101,000 if you just held in a matter of 2 days, because hype is like a lot better with friends on there. You can see what your friends are buying. You could like make fun of them if they like sold something prematurely. This is my sister Maya. She sold Amazon. This is like a while ago. And then as soon as she sold it, went up 140%. And so we like funny emojis and stuff to make it fun and stuff like that too. Like I said, our goal for our clients is to make sure, but we want you to make money and have fun doing so. The best stories are like someone could achieve financial freedom or pay their rent or do something because of us. And so we want you to, like, that is our goal. That's what we're hoping for. And then also to make sure you guys have fun doing it. Part 4 is probably maybe some things that you guys might care about. This is going to go over like common mistakes that you might make, common mistakes I've made. No one's perfect. I'm still going to make these mistakes. For those of you who are new to this, like, I think this will be pretty helpful so you don't make some of these mistakes. You probably still will. I probably still will. These are some of the common mistakes you might make. So the first is top blasting. So this essentially means like buying the top on a coin. So that's like a coin just launches, it runs up a bunch, you're getting FOMO'd into buying it. And so then you buy the top at the top market cap. This is like the worst possible thing you can do, because now you really only have downside unless it goes higher. And every single coin like will drop 50 to 60% or more. So top blasting on a new launch is like definitely not recommended. It happens to the best of us. We get excited, there's a new trend, and we might like get excited and buy the top. But just know that entry is like super important. And when you buy the top, you're like gonna be stuck holding the bag, right? Second one is not being disciplined in position sizing. So a lot of people like want to come into this game and get like rich fast. And yeah, I get that's like part of it, but you have to be smart about what you're doing. If you come in with like $1,000 and you put $500 into one of these like newly launched coins, and your balance is only like $1,000 in the app, the odds of that going to zero is pretty high, right? These are like gambles. And so you need to position your gambles properly. I'll walk through like traditional position sizing on what I do, but you shouldn't be putting like a significant part of your portfolio into a newly launched coin. Yeah, the upside could be great if it hits, but that is also extremely risky, and that's how you can just like go to zero as soon as you start. It's like buying like crazy out of the money call option and putting your entire bankroll into that. Like, why would you do that? Third thing, none of this is financial advice, disclaimers. It's just like from my personal experience, do whatever you want to do. Not selling gains. So again, I've told you I'd honest in the past. I've round tripped like 30K profit just from being greedy. I've round tripped 100K on a trade just from like thinking it's gonna go up more. You're always gonna feel worse about not taking profit versus like missing out on a bit more upside the next day. So my like rule of thumb now is whenever I feel like I'm gonna screenshot something or I'm like, whoa, what just happened? That's when I'll start selling. Like you don't need to sell your entire position. On Hype, there's like a flex card, right? There's a flex card right here. As soon as you click on that flex button, that's when you should start selling at least some of your position. Other thing is like when you get into a trade, have an exit market cap that you want to exit the trade out. There's two things that make a successful trade: entry and exit. Make sure like in your head, if you're buying a coin at 100K market cap, you're like, okay, I want to exit this coin when it hits 1 million or 2 million fully. Have that in your head. Trading on days when you're busy and not locked in. So you have the option also on Hype to like not trade, like day trade. You know, you don't need to be day trading, but if you are like gonna decide to trade and get into a newly launched coin, don't do this when you're busy with work and like other things, right? You need to be locked in because these coins are so volatile. We have things on Hype where you can set market cap alerts, price alerts, and all that stuff to get push notifications in case things are also like are volatile, or adding limit orders and stuff like that to ease yourself a bit. But I recommend not trading on days where you're busy, you're tired, you're just not in the right mental state, because it's like playing a sports game for anyone here who is an athlete and you're coming off, you know, not getting enough rest the previous day, or you want to set yourself up for success. You're not going to do that if you're like tired and just like not locked in, especially for like if you're day trading, right? It's different if you're holding stuff, it's fine. But not having a thesis as to why you're buying something. A lot of people will just like buy stuff because their friend sent it to them. But you yourself, in my opinion, should have a thesis, like a one-line simple thesis. It could literally be, this is hilarious, it made me laugh, and it's at a good price, I'm going to buy it. Like that's fine. As long as you have some sort of thesis. The last thing is like set a goal when you're coming into Hype on what you want to do. Like for me, it's to get to $1 million. For someone else, it might be like to cover expenses for entertainment purposes, to engage in like the culture. So just like know why you're using Hype in the first place. Is it for financial entertainment? Is it to try to like make it big? Is it to maybe help pay bills, pay rent, like buy, like go on a vacation? Like come in with that mindset so you just like know the game you're playing when you're in this. So trading memes versus holding. Remember, like I said before, if you're trading memes, you're trading attention. Remember that you're trading attention. I can give you a bunch of examples of this. Like I said before, very few memes can sustain attention for weeks, let alone months. Most of these things have a lifespan of like a few hours. Think about news cycles, how fast, you know, Trump got shot, got assassinated, and like people weren't even talking about it like 3 days later, right? Things move very fast in the news, and so meme coins are the same. Unless you're buying like a cult type of coin, a coin that can sustain attention, you know, just know that a lot of these are just fads. This means that there's very few things that are actually worth holding. So just know that. And then remember where you are in an attention curve. I'll give you another example of that. So let's go to Google Trends. Yeah, this is already up. Great. So Spotify Wrapped was a recent trade I did. Okay. The Spotify Wrapped came out last week. Peak attention was when? Like the day before Spotify Wrapped came out, or the day of. Now let's look at price of Spotify. Here we go. This is a bad chart. Fuck. Let me just put up on my phone. Okay. So this was the Spotify Wrapped trade, right? This is the chart, Spotify Wrapped chart. This is the Spotify Wrapped Google Trends, right? It's literally like no interest, and then it dies, right? So again, reinforces the idea of this being an attention game. So I knew going into this trade, it was a matter of when do I sell, and then identifying that coin existed and whatever. Very rarely does any coin go to like $100 million market cap, let alone a $10 million market cap. Most of these things die like 1 to 2. This is my target portfolio construction. You should have your own. So not financial advice. For me, it's like I want to have 80% into stable or memes so I can sleep at night. So these are like the cult coins, like the coins on the top tab of Hype, you know, that have a higher market cap, right? Like they're in the billions or hundreds of millions. They've sustained a floor. They have like a group of holders. You know, it's like when you own Bitcoin, it's crazy for me to say this, but Bitcoin's like relatively more stable than owning, you know, meme coin, right? Or whatever. And so they have like that passionate community that's just like holding Bitcoin. And the same thing is with meme coins. There's like passionate people that are just like holding this, and these are usually like the top, like on the top tab. And so this is what I like to call it, the sleep at night coins, or it's like hold it in Solana or US dollars so you can actually sleep at night and then capture upside over time. It's like long time horizon, 2 to 3 months, whatever. Then I have like 10% into long-term gambles. This is like usually a culture arbitrage play. Right now for me, that's probably gonna be some like Christmas, like a few Christmas coins like Rismus or something. There's one called David Sachs. So like David Sachs is the crypto czar. Again, this is like my thesis on the gamble. It ran up to like a $6 million market cap when it came out. He was a crypto czar. And now it's at like 100K, 300K market, 100K market cap. So I'm just going to hold like, now it's essentially floored. There's little downside risk here. I'm going to put in like, I'm going to try to buy 1 or 2% of the total supply. This is my personal bankroll. That's like maybe like five-ish K into the coin. I have 1 or 2% of that coin. Now, if there's any sort of attention on David Sachs, my bet is that that coin will jump multiples because I bought it at a lower value floor. I can sleep at night here. It's a long-term gamble. It's still a gamble. That's what I like to call like a cultural art play. I did the same with this coin called the Huzz. I did that honestly with like Spotify Wrapped as well. That was like front running a narrative before it actually happened. Those are where you have like the most insane P&Ls because you're buying it before anyone's thinking about it. The challenge here though is like being sure you buy the right coin. That's also happened to me where I bought the wrong coin, and we're rolling out a product for this. It's like essentially like invest in themes so you can like spray into the same like idea or theme. Then 10% could be into short-term gambles. Again, on trading days when you're actually gonna be looking at your phone, maybe you could put, for me, that'd be putting like 1 to 3K into newly launched coins. So it's, for example, today there was a coin called Lily or 100X. Essentially, it was like this person who had inappropriate, but she like been with a bunch of dudes, and like that there was a clip that went viral on Twitter that was like the coin of the day essentially today. And so a few days ago it was like Luigi or something. And so there's always like some sort of narrative. There's like new things you can be trading on a daily basis. I personally would recommend 4 to 5 of those a day if you're going to play that game, if you're going to be locked in. And then just like, again, for me, it's like 1 to 3% of total bankroll. Figure out what that is for you. I'm okay now with like that. For anyone who here is in venture capital or whatever, it's the same thing as like investing in a startup, right? Like you have 100 startups that you invest in, or 10 startups you invest in, or 50 startups you invest in. You're writing like certain check sizes into all of them. You're not going to put 50% of your balance of your funds into like one startup, right? You're going to put like 2% or 3% of your total capital raised into each startup. Same thing is like with these like gambles. It's, let me put some into this and one will return the rest, right? So if I have 5 open bets, one of them will return like crazy and the other 2 will probably like be sideways or flop, but it's okay because I'm okay with those going to 0 because it's only 1 to 3% of my total portfolio. And like, you know, hopefully the stabler coins I have or whatever will outperform, like do 1 to 2% that day. It's getting kind of long, but I can also share with you guys this slide afterwards, or I'll put this on YouTube. But assessing a buying opportunity. So again, like, you think this meme is funny, irrelevant, enough to go to $1 million market cap, to a $10 million market cap. How big can this meme actually be? Is this part of a new narrative, a trend? Entry is super important. So this means that like you want to look for things that, for me, it's like I'm looking at a 200 to 400K entry for the gambles. It's kind of nitty gritty, so I'm not gonna go super deep into this. It's a little bit more advanced, but I'll just show you some examples of charts real quick. Okay, let's go through this one today. Lily Phillips. Okay, so this is a classic meme coin behavior. So you have, this is what you would say you're early, you have good entry, right? Here is not where you have good entry. This is horrible entry. This is where you get wrecked. You bought it at the top. So now for this, let's say I'm assessing this in real time. If I was here, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm early and you should be selling along this curve. The smartest traders are selling here. Then you usually have this like crazy, insane 60 to 50%, 70% correction. Every single coin has this. So if you're like miss the initial run up, like just be patient. If you still fuck with the meme, you still think it's funny, you think it's gonna last, then look for like some sort of floor or consolidation before you like enter. So Then she has this like entry is everything on these coins. Be patient. Whoops. Be patient here. Don't FOMO in. These is like I think my strategy. You should also check for like if people are active on social media, they're posting on Twitter, because again, this is an attention market. So if no one is like marketing the coin, if there's no like TikTok presence, there's no Twitter presence, there's no TikTok presence, there's no like Telegram chat, no one's talking about it, then it's not just going to magically run. So I'll show you an example of what that means. So we can go to, let's see, we go chat. Okay, this is an example of a meme coin community Giga chat. They're constantly posting like stuff on Twitter, right? And so I know there's like people essentially trying to push this forward. Another one I own is called Rismus, which is like no one's really looking at, but they're just like constantly posting on TikTok, on Twitter and stuff. And okay, like at least they're marketing, they're trying. And so it's pretty important to look at that versus if you go to like I don't even know what this is, Mana. I guess they're also like they actually have a Twitter, they're posting stuff, bringing engagement. So you want to always assess like, is this just a coin that was created? Are people actually putting effort in? A lot of times like people just aren't, and that's not what you want to be buying, in my opinion. I personally avoid like sub 100K market cap coins. It's super risky. You're going to essentially like, that's just very risky. That's just straight gambling. Like that's like extremely gambling. That's like very gambling. I just would completely avoid pump fund coins. Pump fund is like a meme coin launching website. I only buy these if like my friend maybe made it to support them, or like I'll make some sometimes to send to some of our users, like jokes. Like I made one for my dog called Marshmallow, which like I airdropped a bunch of people, or for Thanksgiving, I created one called Happy Rizgiving. So like I'll just make some too, but not to, I wouldn't go here to, these are very risky. How to sell, this is the hardest part. You will hit something that will like jump 2x, 3x, whatever. And this is where it gets like crazy because you don't know when to sell, right? An example of this was like when I was in the HUZ, it literally ran up from like a 5K trade to, I think at the peak was like 150 to 200K. And you're like, wait, what is makes you a millionaire? You always have these scenarios in your head because you see the crazy outcomes of Peanut going to $1 billion or whatever, and people selling early. And so psychologically, it's always really hard to sell. And so it's like good to understand what are the psychological, meme coins are very psychological. And so understanding that there are psychological levels to this game is important. So usually the first milestone in a coin, and it's almost, again, it's the same thing as like applying this for those of you who are in like venture capital, right? Like very similar concept. You have pre-seed, seed, series A, series B, IPO, right? Unicorn, right? Same thing is kind of like happening with meme coins, right? You have the pre-seed, you have 500K, you have the 1 mil milestone, which is a psychological level for communities to hit that 1 million. Then you have 10 million, then you have 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, 1 billion. This is same with startups. It's very hard to get to $1 billion market cap, right? There's only a few coins that can actually hit that. Most are in the range of just like startups, like 500K to 5 mil, whatever, right? So when you're selling out of stuff, think of it this way. Like these are different psychological levels that people will be taking profits on. So maybe like you can like front run that a bit. Maybe you start selling at 400K or whatever, or like 800K instead of 1 mil. Cheating is like a term people use in crypto for selling. So I just say cheat. My personal strategy after not having a strategy or plan is to sell 25. If I'm in at early at 250K, take out 25% at 500K. If you don't think it's going to has the potential to hit 1 million, like if it's not a great meme, then just take out your initials essentially at a 2x and take another 50% out at 1 million. If you think that there is going to be more upside, keep like 25% in once it hits 1 million. And there's this concept of a moon bag, which essentially is like, it's to protect you against a scenario in which a coin randomly does rip and you feel bad because you sold out of it fully. So I usually like never max sell something unless I'm just trying to get this coin out of my head and I don't want to think about it anymore. I usually just like keep some in case there's like a random thing that happens, which weirdly enough happens a lot, where the coin just like decides to take off. This happened one time where I bought like 1 or 2% of supply of this random coin one day. I didn't sell it because it went to like essentially zero. And then I opened up my phone and then it was at like 20K. It was like, what just happened here? And there was like something that was tweeted out. It just ran up a bunch, and then I sold out then. So you don't want to like, there's no point of like, unless you need the cash or you just want to clear headspace. And on Hype, you could also hide coins if you want to by swiping left. I just like wouldn't completely sell out a position, especially if it's like close to zero, because you never know what might happen. Now, of course, like if you wait 2 months and still nothing's happened, then okay, you can like maybe sell. But moonbags will keep you sane. Maybe I ever cover this long. There's again, there are long-term buys and the short-term gambles. Like I said, in portfolio construction, this is kind of boring, but like long-term holds are in the top tab and Hype. These are coins that have sustained a market cap that it's pretty high. Just like maybe pick some coins that you like, that you resonate with, that you think can get more attention. Check out their Twitter content / community. You know, to show you on like GigaChat, there's like a bunch. There's Mog, there's Retardio, there's like a bunch of really active meme coin communities and stuff. There's like Dog with Hat, there's some AI coins for those people who are interested in AI, crypto stuff. There's kind of like a long-term hold for any type of person. Just figure out, have a thesis again, and then that's where you find the long-term holds. And then of course, again, entry is everything for any type of investor, whether you're a venture investor, whether you're a stock trader, you want to always get a better price, right? So when you're looking at these coins, open up the chart, see, okay, am I buying the all-time high? Am I buying a 60% drawdown? Again, like I said, most of these coins have like think about Bitcoin, think about all like the booms and busts of Bitcoin, right? Like they've had a ton. It's literally 50% swings. Meme coins are the same on a shorter time horizon. So check out like those coins, see, okay, it's moving horizontal. That means it's consolidating. There's a floor. Is this at an all-time high? Maybe you don't want to buy at the peak all-time high. Is there a big dip? Like just, use some common sense. And then yeah, like entry is important here too. We already went through this, but on Hype in particular, you can find newly launched coins on the new tab. I also recommend getting as many people on the app, on the friend feed, because you're gonna get information that way. If you see your friends buying stuff, it's like easier to find stuff. This means that if you miss something, if you didn't catch something, one of your friends might have found it, and you'll have like group chats and stuff like that. We also have a wallet tracker in our app, which I can add. It's like still beta, but I can roll it out to some people here. Go on crypto Twitter, read the news, be on TikTok, just like be yourself, get as much be good at absorbing information and synthesizing that information to find like these new gamble opportunities. Again, like I went through my strategy. I usually like am really bad at timing like the initial crazy. I'll do the best is when I see a crazy like rip, it shows me that coin is able to hit like some sort of virality, and there'll be like a massive dip and some sort of like consolidation. That's like when I'll probably enter a trade. Again, this is essentially front running narratives. Like I made a bunch of money on this like Riz folio narrative that I kind of like made up for myself. I bought a bunch of coins that had the word Riz in. There was like New Year's resolutions, Rizmas Eve. I made money on the TikTok meta, like I just showed you. And there's like news and stuff that you can also look at. Earnings releases, right? If maybe GameStop is doing an earnings release, there'll be more attention on that coin or something. I don't know. Figure out whatever you want there. Send funds out. So I actually do this myself. Whenever you hit a certain amount of money, whatever there's like, maybe it's like every time I make 10K on Hype, I'm going to send 10K out of Hype. That way you don't over trade and like round trip. You want to avoid being in a situation where you spent a bunch of time building up your portfolio to 6 figures, and then, or whatever that number is to you. And then because you were not in the right mindset, you aped into some really dumb coin and you lost like all your money, right? So just if you send funds out of Hype into Coinbase or some other exchange, it's not going to be possible for you to physically, to me, it's just adding friction for you to do that, right? And then again, this is like learnings from myself. When you have a crazy run, like when I made 250K over a weekend, I probably should have chilled out, like took a break, reassessed my entire portfolio, sent money out. Instead, what I did was I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going, sending people money. Like I was just not being smart with what I was doing. And I was being a little bit reckless. And then that's how you round trip. So yeah. So I mean, you guys should all have the app now. For getting set up, I recommend using something like Coinbase to add funds into the app. It's the easiest way, because like on-rampers have some problems with Apple Pay and stuff. And then I recommend depositing Solana There's two options, Solana and Base Ethereum. Base is like this layer 2 on Ethereum blockchain. I recommend probably just being in Solana. That's where most of the memes are. There's like this thing here where you can like bridge from Solana to, like, I could take this money and send it over to Ethereum in the app. It's the bridge. It's like the bridge icon there. So if you click on that, and you can go in and out. You can go from Ethereum to Solana in the app. It's pretty easy. So what else? Yeah, so I recommend doing Solana. That's where most of the cultures. There is some arbitrage on Ethereum, and then I think being on Hype gives you an advantage because you can easily go from like Solana to Ethereum versus other products like don't really let you do that. So again, you want to build stuff where like you guys have an edge over other people. So we're constantly like, the reason why I trade a bunch is because I firmly believe that I should be like the power user, because that way I can make sure the product is like it's great for myself. It's good enough for myself to make money. You know, I can always like know exactly what else I need to build, what features we need to do, what else we need to add, because I'm like a power user of this. So we're always like I'm always like, you know, thinking about new ideas to make your lives 10x easier, to make sure that you guys are able to be set up for success as much as possible. We also have a newsletter, and so Cam is on the Zoom, but Cam does a good job writing a newsletter every single day. It's just hype.meme/news. So I recommend subscribing to this, and like, not as a shill, but like it does a good job of covering what's happening in the meme coin markets. It's kind of like reading like the Morning Brew or any sort of like daily newsletter. We found that no one was covering meme coin news, and so we launched this like over the summer. We've sent out letters every single day, so it's a good way to have a pulse, curate your Twitter feed, follow the right people. We can add you to our Telegram chat if you want to be in it. It's a little bit rowdy in there. Lots of college kids and stuff sending things, but again, you're gonna get a lot of information. A lot of people are gonna send you shit. It's up to you to like synthesize what's worth buying, what's not worth buying. There's always going to be another coin that goes from 100K to 20 million market cap. So if you missed one, remember what I said, don't be top blasting. I recommend when you're in the app to get your friends in there, because it literally is 10x better with your friends on there. It's fun. It's a fun thing to like talk about. Some of these coins are hilarious. It's fun making money together, or losing money together too, I guess. But yeah, that is presentation. It's my contact info. You know, you guys are all part of the Hype Squad now. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It's my first like webinar, so hopefully this covered good content. And just again, know this is all super risky. This is a new asset class. You can make money, but you can lose money. So make sure you're being financially responsible here, and not, you know, if you can't make rent, like maybe you shouldn't be using this as an outlet to do that. Though, I mean, it's up to you on it if you want to do that. Be safe, and yeah.